Amir, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Liat. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. My name is Amir and I'm the head of marketing for Garin Tzabar. Garin Tzabar is a program for lone soldiers by the Israeli Scouts, powered by the Israeli Scouts. Today, we're going to be talking about lone soldiers in general. What are the definition? Who is a lone soldier? Aliya? Yes, no. What are the challenges? What is the basic salary, benefits? I'm going to elaborate a bit more about Garin Tzabar. Why should you enjoy the support system provided by Garin Tzabar and the whole process of it? And then we are going to leave you some time for some Q&A. We have a lot of stuff to cover and time is of the essence. So without any further ado, let's talk about lone soldiers. Lone soldiers, they have statuses. The status is determined by the Ministry of Aliya and the IDF. Those are two different things because the Ministry of Aliya provides you with the status Ole Chadash, Katin Choser, Ezrach Ole, all of those different definitions that I'm not entirely familiar with, but your Aliya representatives from the Jewish agency will be more than happy to assist you. And the army provides you with the definition of a lone soldier. There are a few types of lone soldiers. There is the lone soldier Ole Chadash, which is someone that made Aliyah or didn't, and we'll talk about it in a second. And he or she are serving in the military, in the IDF, and their parents are not living in Israel. This is one type, and this is the type of lone soldiers that we're going to talk in more depth today. And the other type of lone soldiers are Israelis who were born and raised here in Israel. And for some reason, from various reasons, they don't have the financial support of their families. And they need a place to stay. They need financial aid and so on. This is a different case. When we're talking about lone soldiers in Israel, we're talking about approximately 6,500 lone soldiers in active service. So out of the whole population, the whole manpower of the IDF, we're talking about approximately 500,000 people, according to foreign publications. We're talking about, out of this 500,000, we're talking about 6,500 people. And out of this 6,500 people, we're talking about 3,200 lone soldiers, foreign Olim Chadashim lone soldiers. And for those lone soldiers, they have few living options. One is the rent support. The government will be providing you 1,300 new Israeli shekels per month, but it's only if you show against the contract, meaning that you will have to sign a contract with your landlord or landlady and present it to the government, and then the funds will be directed to you. It's not a money that you get anyways. If your contract is for 900 shekels, you'll get only 900 shekels. If your contract is for 1 million shekels a month, good on you, but you will be receiving only 1,300 new Israeli shekels. And from my experience living in Israel for the past 33 years, 1,300 shekel can maybe get you a brick in Tel Aviv. So it's not much, but it is something. Other options are lone soldier houses provided by the army or by the government. They can be in a dormitory style, or they can be apartments where you share it with few other lone soldiers and you get only the four walls. No, it's not furnished. You need to pay for electricity, water, Wi-Fi, everything, sorry. So this is the soldier houses. Another option is to be adopted in a kibbutz. This is a joint initiative of the Israeli government and the kibbutz movement. I can leave you with the details of my colleague Yael from the kibbutz movement later on. And other options are like Garin Tzabar, which I will explain later. But those are the options. So first of all, Aliya. For many of the program, such such as Garin Tzabar, you need to make Aliya in order to participate, in order to get the benefits and the support system Garin Tzabar offers, for example. You need to make Aliya. Your Aliya is the first move in South Africa and in the United Kingdom. And of course, you can always call the Jewish Agency Global Center, and they will be happy to assist you. Now, in terms of Aliya, yay or nay, it's got to do with several things. One, it's a financial decision. If you make Aliya, you get the Sal Klita, what the government gives to new Olim. It's a lot of money. It's a few tens of thousands of shekels to your bank account in cash money and in also benefits. Again, the whole list of benefits and the amounts is available with your Aliya representative. So this is one financial decision. Number two, some of the positions in the army are closed for those who are not making Aliya, because if you're not making Aliya or you're not signing a waiver that you will serve the whole length of the service, which we'll get to it in a bit, then the army says, you know what, this position is close to you because I need to invest in order to train you, and then you're going to finish the army in just a bit, so I won't be able to enjoy you, air quotes. Some positions are closed. And number three is the benefits that you might get after the army. This includes universities and some funds that soldiers that get released are entitled to. These are the main things. If you're considering making Aliya after your service anyways, and I know I'm biased because I represent Garin Tzabar, that is a program that involves Aliya. If you're planning to make Aliya anyways after your army, there's no reason that you'll miss the support system provided by programs such as Garin Tzabar and others that can be really useful. Thinking about serving as a lone soldier in a country, and serving in basically any army, it can be the British Army or the army in South Africa. It's difficult. It's tough. You must have a support system, some sort of support system. Again, I am biased and I'm saying everyone should have Garin Tzabar support system, but I'm also realistic. A lone soldier needs someone to support him, someone he can call, someone who can sort his problems when they're away in the base, someone who understands them. So if there is one thing I want you to take from this lecture, go and get the support you're entitled to. Don't do it on your own, and then choose to do it with Garin Tzabar. But get the support system, any support system. It's crucial. Moving on. So let's talk about what does it actually mean being a lone soldier. By the way, all the soldiers you see here on my presentation are Garin Tzabar alumni, sharing their thoughts and feelings about their service, about Garin Tzabar, and so on. So there are a lot of challenges. I've started talking about it. Now, there are the obvious challenges that a new immigrant or anyone who's living for a foreign country is having. But as a lone soldier, everything is 10, maybe 100 times more. Even stuff like language. Of course, we know that language is different, but it's not just the everyday things. Think about a group of soldiers, 10 soldiers sitting on their break, maybe smoking a cigarette. Don't, and they're having a laugh about certain stuff that they saw on TV. Their children's songs are the same. And the lone soldier who grew up in London or in Jobo, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And that's something that can be really challenging. Sharing a little story about myself. I lived in Australia for a while. This is the funny accent. I worked at the Israeli embassy. And when I first got there, there was a lot of humor that I didn't understand. So taking out a lunch break with my colleagues from the embassy, and they're having a laugh about whatever, not being able to understand, it's something really, really frustrating. And experience it for every day for 2-3 years, it's really, really frustrating. Same goes with the mentality. We're all saying, oh, Israelis, Israeli chutzpah. Yes, I'm going to use my chutzpah. You don't really understand how different you are as a foreigner, as an Oleh Hadash, until you actually get to experience it on a daily basis. Culture here is different. Yom Kippur here looks like Zombieland. Everything is closed. The way that we celebrate our Chagim, no public transportation, even if you're not religious, can be really different. Purim here is different. Distance from family, of course, this is one of the most harder things of being a lone soldier. You being away from your family, you get homesick. It's a real disease. Daily hardship. Sometimes the family is pressuring on you because they want you to come and visit. Sometimes they'll be here in Israel and they won't understand why you can't go out of the army to visit them. And sometimes it can get really frustrating. Financial difficulties. I have to say something. There is a myth that lone soldiers are in need of money. We'll get to it a bit later, but money is never the problem with lone soldiers. The problem is smart financial behavior. The currency is a bit different. The costs of things are really different here. And this gap of transition, to a different country can get really challenging financial wise as well. And of course, daily life, Israeli bureaucracy, dear God, and public transportation, dear God again, really is challenging. And again, experience it. Visiting here for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months is one thing, but living in here and being late for something because you didn't understand how the bus system works and Hebrew, and then you got to the base and your friends are not including you in their humor, can be really challenging. And what we do in Garin Tzabar is that we take all of those challenges and more, and we mediate the gap. We teach our soldiers how they can overcome this gap and how to shorten the gap, how to experience Israel to the fullest and become ready for those challenges. Army assignments. I know that a lot of you, when you're thinking about lone soldiers, you don't think about the challenges that I've just mentioned. You're thinking, all right, I want to be in combat. I want to be a pilot. I want to be in Sayeret Matkal, Shayetet 13, and whatnot. How does it actually works? The army has 3 components that are taken into consideration once you, in order to get you your position. The first one, and that is on the bottom floor, is your preferences. You want to be a pilot, you want to be an elite unit, you want to be in computer science, whatever. They're taking into consideration what you prefer. Putting an asterisk on it, the army isn't a democracy. What you prefer, it's all nice, but the army has the last word, and we'll get to it in a second. So this is the bottom floor. Above it, it's your skills and capability. If you really want to be a pilot and you've been dreaming about aviation every day since you were 5, but you are wearing glasses and you might have asthma. So it's really nice that you want to be a pilot, but you won't be able to do it. And this is something that is being taken into consideration. And this is something that the army is checking. They're checking your physical fitness, if you're able to go through everything, your mental skills, and everything in regarding to the position you'd like. And on top of everything else are the army's needs. If you, I'm continuing on the pilot example, if you want to be a pilot and the army needs 10 pilots and there are 10 people better than you with better skills and capabilities than you, then, and you're the 11th person, then you will not be a pilot because this is what the army needs. So again, everything together is being taken into consideration. With Garin Tzabar, we have the ability to put some pressure and push further your wishes and preferences. But again, it's not something that we can commit on. It has to do a lot with the army's needs and how many jobs are available and so on. But we have a special relationship with Meitav, which is the unit that is in charge of the enlistment process, basically a human resources department of the IDF. And we can try and push further. Again, nothing that we can commit on. In terms of money, as you can see in front of you, this is the lone soldier's salary chart. You can go to our website, go to about, and then lone soldiers benefit. You'll see all the benefits in front of you. So as you can see here, these amounts are not much, but think about it that once you're in the army, you've been taking care of everything. You don't need food in the army. You don't need anything. So this is just for weekends while you're out of the army. And it's quite a lot. Some people really get dizzy by how much is it. And then they go buy themselves the best phone, the best laptop. And then this is when problem starts. This is when when it's becoming a financial issue. Some people never used a credit card before, and now when they're in Israel, they have a credit card, and they haven't used payments, and all of a sudden they're committed to too many payments that they can't afford, and then they go into overdrafts, and this is where the challenge is. But in terms of money, there's no problem of payments. There's no problem of funds. This is something to remember. Again, there are a lot of lone soldiers benefit, and I really urge you to go onto our website and look it up. But a few that worth mentioning. One, the flight home. Every year, a lone soldier is entitled to a special leave of 30 days where he or she can travel home travel home to visit their parents, and they will get vacation for it. And once a service, the army will also fund this vacation, this flight. So this is something to know. Yom Sidurim, once every month, the lone soldier is entitled for one day that they will go off base, and Yom Sidurim is basically errands day and run errands. Again, there are a lot of benefits. Monthly stipend of food. There is an increased stipend for combat. Every Chag, Rosh Hashanah, Pesach, you get extra stipends for food. This year, because of COVID, it wasn't 250 new Israeli shekels. It was actually 600. If you're sick, you'll get financial support. Once you leave the army, you will get a discount for electricity bill, free property tax, and so on. Again, I urge you to go and see the full list on our website. Even if you Google lone soldiers benefit, you'll get to a website. No problem there. Army benefits, early departure, sponsoring the flight, as I said, the special leave for the soldiers if their parents are in Israel, up to eight days. God forbid, if there is a case of a death of a family member, the army will provide you with an emergency flight, and so on. New Olim benefits, as I've mentioned before, it really changes from status to status, Ole Chadash, Katin Chozer, and so on. But all of the list of the benefits are again available at the Aliya representatives. Let's talk a bit about Garin Tzabar, meet Solomon. Garin Tzabar's job, in a nutshell, is to provide support system for lone soldiers by building strong groups and maintaining them in an absorbing community. And we do that by 4 main stages. One is the preparation process. We'll get to everything in a bit. The second is an absorption period that takes place here in Israel. The third one is the actual service, and the fourth one is providing you the tools for a successful transition in civic life, because everyone talking about lone soldiers, we need to help them, but there are very little organizations and people who help lone soldiers after they finish their army. There is a great NGO called Knafaim that does that. We'll get to it in a second as well. So with Garin Tzabar, as the whole benefits that I've mentioned before, there are several really strong benefits, really highlighted benefits. So Garin Tzabar has a unique preparation and absorption period. The preparation, as I've mentioned at the beginning, being a lone soldier and serving in the army, it is difficult, and we together need to make sure that you, the future lone soldier, can really handle it. And so this is what we're doing in the preparation process. The absorption process or period is a period of 4 months that's happening here in Israel before you join the army. And on this period, we basically take care of all your needs, sorting out the bureaucracy, all the Aliya process, getting you your ID, your bank account, everything you need. You get to study Hebrew at Ulpan. This is the time to stop and say, Hebrew is such a crucial part of a successful integration and a successful army service. If you don't have the Hebrew skills, we highly recommend it. At some time, we even decline your participation in Garin Tzabar. Come to Israel on a Kibbutz Ulpan program that my colleague Mati spoke about before, strengthen your Hebrew, and then join Garin Tzabar. We have also a designated army unit. This is what I've spoken about before with our relationship with Meitav, a designated army unit with a special officer, Tzabar officer, that allows us to provide you with a fast-track enlistment process. Just so you understand, when an Israeli is joining the army, they start when they're 16 and a half and they join the army when they're 18. A year and a half it takes for Israelis who were born and raised here. For Garin Tzabar soldiers, 3.5 to 4 months, and you're done. From the minute you land in Israel until you join the army, 3.5, 4 months. Special group experience. Basically, we build groups around the world, and then those groups are coming here to Israel, and they live together. And this is basically the best support system, being surrounded by your shared peers that are experiencing the same thing and having the same hardships. It's one of the biggest supports can be provided. And of course, a 360 support system, you have a person who is not there to replace your parents, but this person is qualified and capable of sorting out any issue you might have. If it's a social issue, health issue, problem with your commanders, everything you need. Accommodation is included. Everyone gets a room with a roomie, their own bed, their own wardrobe. No one touches this stuff, even when they're in the army. Full board, of course, 3 hot meals a day, and so on. Accountability. We've been around, actually this August, it will be our 30th year. We've been around the longest. We are the biggest, and we supported over 5,500 lone soldiers in our 30 years of operation. This is what we do. This is what we do from the minute we wake up until the moment we go to bed, provide support for IDF lone soldiers. This is our job, but also our life mission. And subsidies. I'll get to it at the end about the cost, but I will say that, and you can quote me on that. Financial issue will never prevent someone from receiving the much needed and deserved support system for lone soldiers. If you have any financial issue, we'll make it a non-issue. If you are a good fit for the program and you get accepted, you will join us, no matter if you have financial issues, and I'll say it again at the end. Where and how we support. So changing positions, I've spoken about it before. Bureaucracy, basically, when we're saying opening a bank account, it means that all of the group together are going to a bank branch that we work with, and the branch is being closed just for us. And until the last person is open his bank account and got his credit card and so on, we're not leaving. The same goes for the army enlistment process, for the Ministry of Interior, Misrad HaKlita, and everything else. House visits, we make sure that your house are in the right order. Financial help, I've spoken about before. Ceremonies and visits. No, lone soldiers are not alone here at Garin Tzabar. Someone will come to your ceremonies. You'll have a host families. You have someone to support you emotionally. Understanding your rights, again, the full list. It's way more complicated than that, and we'll make sure that you get every agora cent that you're entitled to. Moving on, as I said, the first stage, preparation process. Due to COVID-19, the process is now being held internationally online. However, we did started here in Israel and in some states in America to meet, and we hopefully, once the vaccination operation worldwide will progress, we'll be able to widen those meetings. Those preparation seminars are there to test that you're socially ready, mentally ready. You will learn about Israel. You'll get to know the positions in the IDF. You will be interviewed by officers and so on. Everything that I've just said throughout this presentation and will say is also valid for religious people. We are working with religious kibbutzim. I heard that Mati spoke before about Sde Eliyahu. This is one of the kibbutzim that we're working for. Basically, the difference for religious and secular kibbutz is that for the religious, we ask you to keep Shabbat in public, to keep kosher, and to daven in the mornings, and for girls, modesty. Those are the 4 different criteria that separates between the religious and secular Garin. The step number 2 is the absorption period. I've spoken a bit about it, but basically those are 4 months of semi-mechina that will prepare you for the army, sorting out all the bureaucracy, trips around Israel, physical training, and so on. There is a lot of stuff with you. The coordinator, he's the person, your go-to person. 2 mashakiot Tzabar, those are 2 soldiers from within the Meitav unit that will accompany you throughout this process and will provide you information about your possibilities in the army and the whole screening process for the army. The absorption period is composed with a weekly routine.
Amir, I'm stopping you 1 minute. We have 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I will let you run on your presentation, whatever you feel like more, you can go more quickly. A few questions that raised already, and I just want you to enlarge them a bit. One of them is, why not Machal again? Another question, what's the ages of Garin Tzabar? If you're 32, can you join the army?
Okay.
That's it. And you have 3 to 5 more minutes.
Okay. So I'm going to breeze through it, and you're more than welcome to set a meeting with me, and I'm going to leave my details on the chat as well. Feel free to shoot me an email. Let's get to the important things. In terms of the requirements, these requirements, the program requirements are in front of you. In terms of the army, you won't be taken into the army if you're above the age of 27. And for Garin Tzabar, 24 for boys, 23 for girls. If you're above 22, if you're above 27, you just won't be able to join the army. Those are the IDF rules, and these are our rules. In terms of the cost, as I said again, financial situation will never prevent you receiving this support system. Now, if you're interested, scan the QR or go to our website. This is the credentials for my colleague Reut in Israel. You can email her. I'll write my details in a second. Why not Machal? I have to say that Machal is a program that connects between the lone soldier and the army, and also connect them with other organizations that some organizations provide accommodation, some organizations provide understanding your rights, and so on. Garin Tzabar is a one-stop shop, is the whole package. You get the full support and the full support system with accommodation, with everything at a very, very low cost. The cost for South Africans, for instance, for the whole thing, the absorption and the support and the accommodation and everything is $950 US. For the United Kingdom, it's between 850 pounds to 1,150 pounds. It really depends on the subsidies of the different areas. And again, more subsidies are allowed. So if you're asking me why not, I can only speak for Garin Tzabar. When I'm looking for something, I'm looking for a one-stop shop that will provide me with the broadest support system, and not something that will connect me to other organizations that will provide me some support.
All the jobs are the same in Garin Tzabar or in Machal, or Machal prevent you to do some of the work, the jobs in the army?
It's a great question. It's a great question. Once you do Machal, you are not doing the full length of the service, which means that some positions will be closed up for you. Because again, the army said, I don't want to invest in someone and train them, and then they'll be finishing the army at an earlier stage.
And one last question. Many people doing kibbutz ulpan and then joining Garin Tzabar. Do you recommend that? How does it work? Can someone go on Masa program and then doing Garin Tzabar?
I absolutely 100% recommend doing a Masa program / Kibbutz Ulpan and then join Garin Tzabar. The information that you see in front of you, it's my colleague Reut in Israel. Once you are on a Masa program or a Kibbutz Ulpan program, give her a call, shoot her an email, and she'll be able to assist you from within Israel. I recommend it because A, strengthening your Hebrew, we already agreed that it's the most important part of a successful integration, and B, you get to feel the country, you get to feel the vibe, you get to understand if that is something that you really, really want.
And last question, Amir, your presentation going to stay on the system of the Expo?
I will send a PDF to Tanya.
Yeah, amazing.
And also you can, I'm going to write my details on the chat and shoot me an email and I can just send it to you.
Okay, and if you're sending it to Tanya, we're going to upload it in the next few days, and then all the information from the Expo going to be available for everyone. Amir, thank you very, very much. We need to finish this lecture and moving to the Toshavim Chozrim lecture. You can stay with us if you want, but I'm sure we're sending you all the time people from all the different community. Thank you for all what you are doing. I do believe, and I'm telling everyone, don't go to the army alone. Army, it's not an easy place to go. And just look for the biggest support that you can take with you to go to the army. And as much as you can take. And I truly believe Garin Tzabar giving like a full package of support. I'm not getting anything from Garin Tzabar. I just believe army, it's a tough journey to go through. And just don't give up on having all what you need around you to make it a successful experience and not a traumatic one.
I second Amir, everything that Leah just said.
Okay. Amir, thank you for your time. I'm stopping this record of lecture.